The first thing I noticed when I entered the research wing of Station Zephyr 9 was how quiet it was. Too quiet for a facility that housed dozens of scientists, engineers, and security personnel. The humming of life support systems and the soft hum of the fusion reactors were the only sounds, punctuated occasionally by the subtle creak of the station's structure settling in the vacuum beyond. I was supposed to meet my sister-in-law, Thalara, in Lab 12. The request came via encrypted message, urgent and insistent. She claimed she needed to show me something that could change the course of human-alien relations in the quadrant. Her tone, usually polite and formal, carried an unusual edge of command. I frowned. Thalara was brilliant, one of the foremost xenobiologists in the Alpha sector, but she had a reputation for stubbornness bordering on obsession. And her messages always had an undercurrent of persuasion. I reached Lab 12 and pushed the door open. She was already there. The lights were dim, and the air had a faint, almost sweet metallic scent. Thalara's tall figure was bathed in the glow of containment pods, each holding alien specimens that shimmered with bioluminescence. But it wasn't the specimens that drew my attention, it was the way she looked at me, her eyes narrowing ever so slightly. "Ah," she said, smiling, though her smile didn't reach her eyes. "You came." "I did," I said cautiously, stepping inside. "But if this is another one of your—" Before I could finish, the door hissed shut behind me. I turned, expecting a malfunction, but the locking mechanism clicked into place. "Thalara, what are you doing?" I asked, my voice rising slightly. She stepped closer, her expression unreadable. "I need you to see this, fully. You will not leave until you do." I froze. This was not a request. Not even a suggestion. It was an order disguised as a polite statement. "Listen, I can't." "You can," she interrupted softly. "You will." Her tone was calm, almost hypnotic, but there was something in it that pressed against my instincts, the same way the subtle gravitational fields of the alien pods pressed on your body when you were too close. I hated that it worked. Hours passed. We moved from pod to pod. She explained the alien specimens, the unique neural networks, the symbiotic connections that allowed them to communicate across vast distances. She demonstrated the resonance fields they emitted, small waves that triggered unexpected reactions in nearby organisms. I was impressed. I knew she was brilliant, but this was beyond anything I had imagined. But with every demonstration, there was a tension I couldn't ignore. She stood too close, her proximity just beyond what my mind could comfortably rationalize. Every time I reached to adjust a pod, my hand brushed against hers, or against her arm, her side. And every time, I felt a shiver pass through her body, subtle, almost imperceptible to anyone else, but unmistakable. Finally, I stopped mid-motion. "Thalara, stop. I'm here to help you, not, whatever this is." She paused, her hand hovering near mine. "You said no," she whispered. "I said no to what?" "This," she said, gesturing vaguely at herself, at the room, at the tension. "To being persuaded, to being influenced. You set boundaries, and I respect that, but boundaries are tricky, aren't they?" Before I could respond, the room's lights dimmed further, the containment pods pulsing in a slow, almost hypnotic rhythm. The air hummed faintly, the resonance fields of the specimens amplifying, intertwining with the station's own energy systems. "You're trying to manipulate me," I said, my voice rising. "You trapped me in here, Thalara." "You." "I didn't trap you," she interrupted, moving closer. "You're here. You're listening. You're learning. And yes, I want more from this encounter than just your technical input. But I am not forcing you, just creating an environment where you cannot avoid truth." Her words were deliberate, precise, calculated to unbalance me without touching me directly. My rational mind screamed that I should leave, that I should call security, that I should assert control. But the air in the room, thick with the strange resonance of the specimens, pressed against my thoughts like a tide. And I realized then, what she was doing wasn't just physical. It was psychological, emotional, even biological. The breakthrough came unexpectedly. She led me to a new containment pod, smaller, more fragile, filled with a liquid that shimmered with phosphorescent threads. "This," she said, "is the Branax. They are sentient, capable of forming bonds with hosts, creating an interspecies connection that enhances neural capacity. Only one human has ever attempted to interface with them, unsuccessfully." I peered into the pod, captivated. The threads of light moved toward me, almost in recognition. What does it do? I asked. They communicate, Thalara said. Through touch, through presence. But it is delicate. The wrong approach can trigger defensive mechanisms, aggression, fear, or bonding that cannot be undone. I shivered. Bonding? Yes, she said. Her voice dropped, soft, almost intimate. Just like our interaction. My heart stopped. You see, she continued, I am not asking for consent in the usual sense. This is about honesty. About acknowledging what is already present. Humans think they control their responses. I think we both know that is not entirely true. I stepped back, shaking my head. Thalara, this is insane. You said no, she interrupted again. But here we are. In the room. I respect your no, I truly do. But you cannot escape the consequences of presence. Not when truth is demanding attention. And then she reached out. Not aggressively, not with force, but her hand hovered near mine, close enough that I could feel the warmth in the air between us. It was not threatening. It was challenging. Hours passed in tense silence. We discussed ethics, xenobiology, diplomacy, and power structures, but always, the space between us thrummed with unspoken energy. I caught myself imagining what it would be like if I gave in just to see what would happen. But I didn't. I held the line. I said no, over and over, silently, to myself. And Thalara respected it. Eventually, the resonance fields of the Brannox began to subside, the room's lighting returned to normal, and the pods quieted. She stepped back, a faint smile on her lips. You've done well, she said. Most humans would have faltered. Most would have broken their boundaries without even realizing it. I exhaled, tension leaving me slowly. I didn't know if I could, I admitted. But you never really forced me. Correct, she said. I merely created conditions where your true self would reveal itself. That is all. Her gaze lingered on me, a curious mixture of admiration, amusement, and something else I couldn't name. Now, she continued, you may leave. I stepped back, finally feeling free, but strangely reluctant. The door clicked open automatically as I moved toward it. She watched me go, her expression calm, unreadable, yet somehow satisfied. When I returned to my quarters, the station was alive again with chatter. Rumors had spread quickly, Thalara had made a breakthrough with the Brannox, and a human had been present. Details were sketchy, but speculation ran wild. Some colleagues whispered that I had been compromised, influenced, or worse. Others suggested I had facilitated a historic first in human-alien cooperation. I didn't care. Because I knew the truth, the night in Lab 12 had been more than a demonstration. More than a test. More than a mistake that could have undone me. It had been a revelation. I had said no. And she had respected it. Yet somehow, in the quiet moments afterward, I realized that nothing, no boundary, no protocol, no rule, could ever erase the memory of that room, the resonance of presence, the unspoken challenge that had hung between us. I knew, without a doubt, that I would never see a laboratory, a containment pod, or a human-alien interface the same way again. And I knew that Thalara, brilliant, commanding, unyielding, would not let me forget it. Weeks later, I received another message. Short. Precise. Your no was noted. Your presence, appreciated. Prepare for further observations. I smiled, shaking my head. Some mistakes, I realized, are not mistakes at all. Some lessons demand you say no, yet force you to confront truths you cannot ignore. And some encounters change everything. Because even when boundaries are respected, even when no is clearly stated, the universe has a way of showing us what we cannot escape. And I had just experienced it firsthand.